The Skyjack that shook America, November 24, 1971, a rainy evening. A man in a suit calmly boards Northwest Orient Flight 305 with nothing but a briefcase, a bourbon, and a deadly secret. By the end of that night, he would have $200,000 in ransom, jumped from a Boeing 727 mid-flight and vanished into legend. No body, no trace, no answers. This isn't a movie. It's the only unsolved case of air piracy in US history. And the man responsible? Known only as D.B. Cooper, a name born out of a reporter's typo, now immortalized in true crime history. The Skyjacking. Who was D.B. Cooper? On that fateful day, a man using the alias Dan Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305. Witnesses described him as polite, calm, and clean-cut. He wore a black suit, a raincoat, a white shirt, and a black tie pinned with a mother-of-pearl tie clasp. Not long after takeoff, Cooper handed a stewardess a note. "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I will use it if necessary. I want you to sit next to me. You are being hijacked." He revealed 8 red cylinders inside his briefcase, resembling dynamite. Cooper demanded $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by when they landed in Seattle. His demands were met by 5:45 p.m. Passengers were released unharmed. He kept a few crew members and ordered the plane to take off again, this time bound for Mexico City. But he had no intention of reaching Mexico. At 8:13 p.m., flying over the thick forest near the Lewis River, Cooper opened the rear stairs of the Boeing 727 and jumped into the night with the ransom strapped to him. He vanished. The largest manhunt in U.S. history, the FBI launched Operation Norjack, Northwest Hijacking, unleashing one of the most exhaustive manhunts ever conducted. Paratroopers, helicopters, planes, dogs, and hundreds of searchers scoured the dense forests of Washington and Oregon. Nothing was found. He left behind only a black clip-on tie with DNA, a mother-of-pearl tie clasp, 8 Rayleigh cigarette butts, 2 parachute packs, 1 real, 1 dummy. In 1980, a breakthrough, sort of. A young boy on vacation found $5,800 buried along the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom bills. But why were only 3 packets found? And how did they get there? The area had been dredged in 1974, yet no money was found then. Tests showed the cash likely arrived after the dredging. Theories ranged from river drift, animal burial, or even a strategic drop by Cooper himself. But the mystery only deepened. Theories, twists, and leads that went cold over the years, dozens of suspects emerged. Ex-cons, military veterans, and airline employees all fit some part of the profile. Yet none were definitively linked to the crime. One compelling suspect, Kenneth Christensen, Army paratrooper in W2, a flight purser for Northwest Orient, purchased a house with cash after the hijacking, had a similar physical description, loved bourbon, smoked the same brand, and wore similar ties. Before his death in 1994, Christensen told his brother Lyle he had a dark secret. The family later found clippings about Northwest Orient Airlines and over $200,000 in bank accounts. Yet the FBI dismissed him as a prime suspect. Other suspects included Richard McCoy, skyjacked a plane in 1972 in a copycat attempt, escaped prison, shot in a shootout. Dwayne Webber confessed on his deathbed. His widow turned over a diary with references to the hijacking. Robert Rackstraw, a Vietnam vet and explosives expert, suspected by some amateur sleuths, but no official link. The parachute problem of the 4 parachutes given to Cooper, one was a dummy, inoperable. Strangely, Cooper chose this one to jump with. Was it a mistake? If he was an expert, surely he'd recognize it. Even more bizarre, he used the real chute's cords to tie up the money bag. Was this an act of desperation? Or was he improvising, believing he could still survive the jump with what he had? Experts remain split. Some say no seasoned skydiver would have attempted a night jump in a storm in a suit with no helmet. Others argue he knew the Boeing 727 was ideal: rear stairs, slow speed, low altitude. Could he have survived? Decaying clues and rising questions. In 1978, a hunter found a placard from Flight 305 in the woods, with instructions on opening the rear stairs. It was located well away from the flight path. In 1988, a tattered parachute was discovered, not Cooper's. In 2008, kids found another one, vintage W-2, still not Cooper's. Even a human skull was found in the area, but was later linked to a missing woman. The only definitive evidence remains that necktie, containing trace elements of rare metals like titanium. Some say this points to someone who worked in aerospace or chemical manufacturing. The FBI released this information in 2007, hoping to stir public memory. They even made the serial numbers of the ransom bills public, inviting people to check their old cash. Still, nothing. The legacy of D.B. Cooper. Pop culture ate up the myth. Books, documentaries, and even fictional appearances in Loki, Prison Break, and Without a Paddle kept the mystery alive. Despite closing the active investigation in 2016, the FBI still maintains the case as technically unsolved. And the world continues to ask, did D.B. Cooper survive? Was he an amateur who perished in the wild, or a genius who pulled off the perfect crime?